Today, I am so excited to share with you some really easy IKEA hacks to create a beautiful and functional home. Let's get started. I'm heading to IKEA and it is one of my favorite places in the whole world to get materials to DIY with that are perfect for small spaces, and they're also perfect if you're on a budget. I'm starting by picking up this IKEA 365 Plus bamboo lid. By the way, I love all of these products in the 365 Plus line for storage for food or for your pantry. I'm gonna pick up a couple of these lids, and then I'm going into the gardening section and I'm picking out this plant pot. I love the green color and the design on it. And I'm gonna pick up this woven one as well. Back at home, I am taking my drill and a hole saw, and then I'm marking out the center of one of the bamboo lids with my tape measure and a pencil. I'm placing the lid on top of the plant pot, and very carefully with my hole saw, I am drilling a 1 1/4 inch hole. You wanna be really careful with this. Get some help if you're not familiar with a hole saw. I'm using the reverse on my drill because that helps it not grab as much for me. Once the hole is all drilled through, I'm taking the lid off and I'm using some 80 grit sandpaper to just kind of smooth out that hole to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Now I'm taking a square box of tissues, I'm opening it up on the side, pulling out the tissues, making sure the fold is on the top, and placing that with the fold up inside my plant pot. Now I'm placing the lid with the hole back on top, pulling my first piece of tissue through that hole. Now I have a really stylish and super cute tissue holder that looks great on a side table, on a coffee table, looks so cute in my house, would look so neat in our little vacation rentals, and it's actually quite easy to make. I'm also making a second one of these using that woven plant pot, drilling a hole out of the bamboo lid just the same, placing the tissue inside, the lid on top, and this one kind of has a more nautical, sort of beachy boho vibe, and I love this one too. Let me know which of these tissue holders is your favorite down in those comments below. The IKEA Beckham spice racks are so affordable and you can use them for so many different things. They're not just for holding spices. I'm picking up one of these and I'm going to paint it after I assemble it. They're very easy to assemble and come with all the parts you need. I'm gonna paint it a really soft pink color. Now my youngest daughter has a bunk bed, and obviously there's no sort of nightstand situation you can have on the top bunk. So I wanted to create a spot where she could put her books, a light, and her little stuffed animal. After the spice rack is all painted and it's dry, I'm just placing some screws in the correct spot on the head of her top bunk bed, making sure to anchor those with some drywall anchors, and installing the spice rack. Now I can add all of her favorite books, some toys, even this clip-on light from Amazon that's battery operated, and she has a spot for all of her special things. I love how this turned out. You could even use 2 or 3 of these in a row. Would be great for a kid's room, a playroom, a basement, and it doesn't take up that much space. Another of my favorite IKEA products that's such a good deal is the Halltarp rail system. Now IKEA has these in a black color, a silver color, and a relatively new gold color, which is my favorite color. And I'm gonna use it for a really unique art display. I'm installing it above my sideboard, and for the holidays, I can display things like these big rustic bells, or for any time of year, I found this picture set from Amazon. It has these hanging chains, and I can just add these to the Halltarp rail, add some fun photos of our family inside, and it's just a nice alternative to a gallery wall that I can change out, and it looks so beautiful in my living room. Another favorite IKEA product that's nice and affordable is the Stoltet cutting board. I love how it's sort of this riser style. I've used it before as a place for my coffee mug on the couch, and this works especially well if you have a square-armed sofa like I do. You can just place the cutting board on top. It's nice and stable. I've used it for a couple years now. Works great. But I also want to use it for another reason today. I have this coffee station here in my RV. It's a bit of a smaller area, so it's always nice to add some extra storage to the space. What I love about this cutting board is that you can place things underneath and on top, so it adds a little bit of extra storage. I'm placing it here in my coffee station in the RV. On top of that, I'm adding some jars of my favorite coffee syrup and a jar of coffee beans. This canister was from Dollarama, and I love the bamboo lid and how it matches with the cutting board. And then I have this small tray. This is actually from my own online shop, Cozy Prairie Linens. I will link it and everything else I'm mentioning in this video down in that description box below. As long as you have a tray that isn't too high, you can kind of tuck it underneath the cutting board. I'm adding some of my favorite tea in here, but you could add some sugar bags or whatever you want here, flipping it underneath the cutting board, and then also putting some nice coffee spoons here as well. I love how this looks in my coffee station space. It's a great way to store a couple extra items, and it's nice and lightweight, so it's easy for traveling. This Vardagan jar is in the kitchen section at IKEA. I love how it's sort of tall and slender. So I have a really fun and unique idea for this. I'm picking it up and then I'm just taking off the packaging and the sticker on the bottom, taking the lid right off and storing that for use later. Now I'm gonna fill it up with some faux ferns, but you could use some dried flowers, you could use any sort of seasonal thing like sand, seashells, moss. I mean, for Christmas, you could put pine cones in here. I think what I love about this idea is that you could change up what you put inside for the different seasons. I love how these ferns look, and I'm just using a couple of stems. I found this lampshade from the thrift store, and I thought it was the perfect shape, size, and color for this lamp idea. I'm just popping it on top of the jar and it balances nicely. You could tack yours on with glue or whatever you need to do. And then I have this battery operated light bulb with a remote. This is from Amazon and I love it so much. You can just recharge it in any regular light socket and it lasts quite a long time. I'm placing that inside of the lampshade just like this. And now I'm placing this lamp on a side table in my living room. I love that I can use a remote to turn this on. I don't have to have this near an outlet. It's so convenient that way. Plus, I love that I could just use the remote, click it on, and when the light shines through from my windows in my living room, I think this lamp looks so pretty. I also like that I can change up the contents depending on the season. I think this is such a fun DIY and I love this IKEA hack. IKEA has these wooden crates. You can get a larger size and a smaller size. I think they're a great deal and you can use them for so many different things, not just storage. So I'm gonna create a unique decorative element with 2 of these. I'm taking 2 of them home and before I assemble them, I'm going to stain them with this provincial colored stain. I love the natural and rustic color of this and I find it easier to stain before I assemble these. After a coat of stain, I'm wiping it off, flipping these pieces around, doing another coat and wiping off, and letting these pieces dry overnight. Now that the crate pieces are dry, I am going to assemble them just following the directions. Nice and easy and quick, especially if you use a drill and a bit like I have here. And now once these are assembled, I'm going to add some small eye hooks on the top 2 corners of each of the crates. I found these in just like a simple picture hanging pack that I found. And I'm just sort of hammering them in and then sort of screwing them in after that. I'm using some picture hanging wire and attaching it from one of the eye hooks to the other on each of the crates. I love these siding hanging clips. They're so fantastic if you want to decorate your siding, if you have vinyl siding like I do on your porch. I'm attaching a couple of these to the siding just above my outdoor sofa, and then I'm hanging each crate off of the picture hanging wire onto those clips, and now I have some cute outdoor shelves that kind of give my porch this beautiful rustic vibe. You can fill them with really whatever you want, whether it is live flowers, cut flowers, faux flowers. My peonies are in season right now, so I added them to some water in these beautiful vintage copper mugs. Placed these inside my IKEA hack shelves, and I love how these turned out. So pretty and so simple to make. Thank you so much for watching today's IKEA hacks video. Let me know down in those comments below which of these was your favorite. I would love to know. I've done so many IKEA hacks over the last years. I've done everything from make a kitchen bench to add shelves in my daughter's rooms. I'm gonna leave a video for you to watch next with more of my IKEA hacks right up here.